is, the system's already taxed, man. So if you don't have beds to put these people in, and then you're having to turn people away who may need cancer treatments, who may need, whatever kind of treatments that they may, if they have a cardiac arrest or something like that, if we don't have the staff, that takes staff from one situation to another situation to try to man those. It's almost like being on a ship. Okay, we got to plug a hole in shit. So everybody moves from one workstation to go plug that fucking hole. That leaves that station unmanned. You know what I mean?
So that's the case. Now the building, I know they already have like cancer departments,
that's oncology,
ENT areas. Are they building like COVID departments that's separate from the hospitals?
No, what we need is more ICU beds and more, more vents, more supplementary oxygen,
more furnaces,
more staff. You know what I mean?
Finer nurses.
More furnaces. Yeah, definitely more furnaces. That's on the other end of it.
Never mind.
What you got?
I said finer nurses, but I said right and get all the fine nurses. Never mind.
Oh shit! No, hell, I don't even see no fine nurses now. A bunch of folks leaving, man. I'm telling you, a bunch of acting like they were sick and walked into that area. One, he exposed himself to a possible infection. Two, he ain't gonna see anybody anyway.
But you know, they tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. I said that's what they do. You get message, they rather send it through mail.
But okay,
but somebody said I'm lying. Okay.
When I had an ear infection. Mm-hmm. Now, when I went and seen the nurse for the ear infection, I was in there, the waiting room for a minute. Now, when I got out of there, I went into the little area with the nurses stations, and they had like the little bed, and they checked on me. Now, dudes that had serious illness, I was never in that area. The people who had serious illness, that wasn't sitting in the weight room. When you have a tragic, if you have somebody comes in with a gunshot, you're going to the emergency side. You're not going to the general area just to go sit in and wait. The people who have COVID, they don't go to the general area and say, hey, I got COVID. Can y'all admit me? No, they're on the emergency side. See, there's two different types. See, a lot of people, they try to use their brain and be smart. But because you hear that everybody's at the hospital, and you go to the side where nobody really goes to, because understand, if you literally don't have an emergency, are you going to go to the hospital, like you just said, and expose yourself to this just to say, I went there and there was no COVID patients there. I win, they lose, they suck.
Yeah. We got to walk around the hospital. We got to change it. We got to change that song. COVID on the floor. Oh, you're getting sick right now.
Hey, all we gotta do is just play Juvenile, back that COVID up.
These motherfuckers are stupid. Like, I'm tired of there should be an intelligence quota for fucking YouTube, man.
Hey, that dude, it was a dude that I had on my route. The first thing the guy always told me, he was like, man, I don't worry about this mask shit. Every time, didn't wear a mask. I wear my mask all the time when I'm around him. And probably a month or so later, I went there, I seen him wearing a mask. I didn't even say nothing to him. I just jumped out. He's like, yeah, I see you got your mask on. I was like, yeah. He's like, that shit real. I was like, oh, okay. He's like, nah, for real. My aunt died. He was like, I talked to her. He's like, I talked to the family.
So what did y'all think about
and 2 days later, she died.
The folks fighting in New York and Texas?
Fighting what? Fighting for what?
Oh, he got something going on.
Obviously not fighting for niggas' rights.
Probably for that baby shit they talking about. But yeah, I mean, it was crazy. Dude just came out and said, go ahead, Rodney. Well, yeah, dude just came out and said, he's like, yeah, man, my aunt died. He was like, I talked to my mom or something. Okay, we here now.
Okay, y'all see the thing where the Texas.
Let him finish, Rodney. Let him finish.
Okay. No, he good. I just finished it up. I just said his aunt died, and basically that's why he was saying why it was so real. Because at first he wasn't thinking it was real, but then when his aunt died, like a day later, after he found out she had COVID one day, and the next day she died. But go ahead.
Oh, I was going to tell you about the. Did y'all hear about the 3 black ladies that came up from Texas that they were asked to show that their COVID vaccination proof cards or whatever for them to dine in this restaurant?
Oh, I
and man, they whooped the shit out that woman, man.
Yep, they sure did.
What? And they said they're gonna prosecute in New York. I'm gonna do a story on it, but yeah, y'all Google that, man. It was atrocious, man. And see, that's some of the same stuff that we talk about these black women going out clowning. If you ain't bucking your ass in the damn restaurant, you're going up there whooping people because you don't want to get a vaccine. It's
I seen that. You remember that's the same thing that happened in Atlanta. That dude shot the woman because she told him to wear a mask.
Man.
He was checking out. He was checking out at the register. And she was like, put your mask on. They got that. Words kept going back and forth. And next thing you know, dude just went out to the car, got his gun, came back in, shot her with the police in there.
Wow.
Man,
like
this
wasn't no rental cop. This wasn't a rental cop. It was an actual police with the badge and the uniform and all that. Right in front of the police.
Man, look, hey, I'm finna count these pills, man. I'm finna get up out of there. I'll be home in about 30 minutes, then I'll get back on.
All right.
All right, y'all.
All right.
Hey, now if he didn't work at the hospital, I'd be like, whoa, wait a minute, what?
Yeah. You know we gotta count out, man. Shit.
Hey, if you didn't work at the hospital, I'd be like, hey.
And then look, they sit up there talking all that shit, man. I worked 126 hours this last pay period. They killing my ass. So, when they talking all that trash, man, hell, I'm living proof of it. But I'll be back up in there in about 30 minutes.
Okay, we'll talk about the new variant when it comes back. Well, if y'all want to get into that now.
That's what he's just the move variant. Good God, buddy. You talking about fat bitches? Damn, even fat bitches got fucking COVID, man.
The cow poop?
That chick variant.
You're talking about
you guys.
detachment, special operations detachment force Delta. God damn, that motherfucker coming in there like Delta Force, kicking everybody's ass.
So there's a Lizzle variant now?
It's not there.
Wait till the Xena Warrior print.
When you have a chance, go over to Art's channel. I think I'm gonna go in. I keep debating on, do I want to go in? Because it's like guy night, and the guys start talking all crazy and stuff. But I do have a couple things I want to say.
And she's still a miserable
So
bitch
I'm going
online.
in.
I'm like, okay, she's clearly miserable. What?
Like she's a mental health case, man. Something wrong with her.
Yeah. And she got talent. That's what kills me. I'm like, why can't you just use your talent and just shut up?
Right. You got talent?
Why can't you pay for a personal trainer?
They had her. She's from Minneapolis, so they had her with. I was listening to her when she was with these people that got that Minneapolis sound with the ding-a-ling-a-ling. She was blown with. I was like, shit.
So she got her talent?
Yes, yeah, good. I'm like, why can't you just work with that? I think she'd be more respected. Work with that, get your little liposuction.
And then you know what? The music industry would have told her to lose some damn weight.
like Adele. Remember Adele took all that weight off her?
Yeah.
Adele got a black man now.
Kelly Clarkson, all them dudes.
Adele got a black man now. She got her boyfriend black.
I bet they do.
She's with, what's his name? The dude that is a manager or something? Or,
yeah. For athletes or something.
I forgot the guy's name.
She ain't fighting broke nigga.
Shirley snuck in here.
I snuck in here.
I thought that voice sound familiar.
Exactly. I said, who that? Who that there?
Who that hell here? Who that here that go here and here? When you hang around those southern,
took my apple juice.
When you hang around these southern people, you're like, what the hell did they say? What you doing on here, girl? You're like, what did she say? I'm sorry, I didn't quite understand.
Okay,
I'm
so
right now.
Here, Dr. Hussar.
What?
Yeah, what's going on? What's going on with the whole Larry Elder thing?
Oh, here you go again. What
am I supposed to call?
You already got your
Hey man, Larry ducking eggs.
That's right. There you
He's
go.
talking about the goddamn Kuna Coons.
Larry out there ducking scrambled eggs.
That's right. There you go.
He fight for his life, one pink monkey at a time.
Oh my God.
Larry,
you know you so bad when white bitches throw eggs on you. Like, God damn.
Yeah, they me too them too, didn't they?
Exactly.
Yeah, they tried to. He's so cool that Me Too is not even effective.
So you guys California is a big problem, and nobody takes it serious. And if this man ran for governor, he didn't win. I'm not a Gavin Newsom fan. 2 years later, we got another guy who'll be running. So you know, I'm following the financial market. I'm looking at where we are as far as the fake inflation with the real inflation that people are saying. I believe inflation is going to be a major factor. I'm paying attention to the real estate market. I'm watching all these Negroes getting kicked out of their properties because the EDD ended this month. There's an article that came out with the PPP loans, and they got the people's names, address, and what type of loan they took and how much money they got. And they got a whole article on that. I was like, dang. So,
hey Charles, they got us. They got us, Charles. Let's go ahead, tell the truth. They got us. Fuck with you, Charles.
You're wrong.
I was about to say, that's all you, bro. Yeah, they got you, Negro.
They got us, Charles.
They like you strong black Negroes.
Yeah, strong black
Negroes. Ain't touching that.
Mm-hmm. They touching you. You don't have to touch that. They touching you.
Oh man, we got a whole cast up here. We got Mel up in here too.
Uh-oh.
Here we go. Oh shit.
Which Mella coming up? Which Mella coming up? Mella, this is different.
You can tell. You can tell how
it's a different Mella. She ain't even got a picture. Mella, where you at?
I tried to upload my picture.
Yeah, it said took off, but we got Mella. Okay, what you got for us? You know,
what you drinking? They dropping like flies. They dropping like flies.
I wanted to bring awareness to the people in different from the motherland. You know, there are people that are enslaved that we don't talk about. You know, and I was wondering if anybody had any thoughts about that.
No.
Did they get any PPP loans?
You laugh, but you know what? There was a Nigerian man that got. There's some Africans on there. He says, "I'm from Nigeria." He had a pro. I'm serious. There's like foreign people who got a lot of this money out of the state on that PPP loan. Interesting article.
Well, I'm glad Hush will be locked up because he was gonna get the bank.
Well, this is where we at.
So Melba, let me see if I'll try to answer your question. You want to know, do we care about Black people in Africa?
That's the enslavement.
Yeah. The enslavement with Blacks in Africa. Is that your question?
Yeah, those who are mining for cobalt and in the interest of providing lithium for the batteries that make electric cars for Tesla. You know, they're being slaughtered. You know, yeah, they're being, the Congolese people are being slaughtered while mining for cobalt, and it turns, you know, it's provided for their electric cars, and we all know Tesla is a coveted brand, and I was wondering if people were aware of that.
We know about that, but what about the people over here in America that are getting unjustly killed by police, homeless over here? Tupac said it best: we got money for wars, but can't feed the poor. Uh-oh, the gynocracy got her.
Afghanistan people.
Oh, good Lord.
That apparently is preferred are being housed. But the people that are Haitian, they're forced to live under a bridge as opposed to being accommodated for refuge. And I'm aware of those things as well. Yeah.
Melba, people can't understand you. You're not your message. You're going in and out. Yeah.
I literally heard like 5 words.
Okay. Have y'all heard of anybody named Flagship?
Yeah.
No. I never heard of no.
Flagship what?
Yeah, Flagship's my friend. That's my buddy.
Okay.
Flagship was real sharp.
Hey, how you guys doing? How you doing? Hey, Shirley.
Hey, Jay.
Yeah. Well, I think someone that just said something. Oh, I'm sorry. Can I say something or no?
No, go for it.
Well, I was just talking about the. You were talking about the slavery that's happening in Africa with the mining things and issues going on. But it just seems as though, for me, I just don't know what we can do, because at this junction in time, after we had slavery that happened on the continent, where we got to this land in the first place, and the French are there, the freaking English, and now the Chinese are coming in there. I think I'm kind of done fighting. We should be done fighting for people who don't want to fight and help themselves, because these immigrants that come over here, they come over here hating us, and then there's still stuff going on in their country. So it's like, well, why are the immigrants coming over here to come and chill and escape when they should stay in their country and fight the same white supremacists that we're fighting over here? It's like, what can we do? There's more black folks in Africa than there are white people. Tell them that you ain't gonna do it.
But then the thing about it is, in a lot of those areas, like the Congo, where a lot of the minerals and all that stuff, dyes and all kind of precious metals, they're all mined over there, in which the people, they're forcing those people to work because of higher powers. The dictators and all that come in those countries, they sell to other countries. They're the biggest buyers. You know, like you have I'm not gonna name a company, but you'll have a major company that needs all that stuff. They'll just go buy it from the warlord, and they'll give them a reasonable price on it, to the point where if they don't meet their demands, then people get slaughtered. So if the major companies stop buying, what do you think dictators and the warlords are going to do? Who are they going to boss around to sell this stuff to if no one's buying it? So we can't. Our hands are tied. We're not in this. If they want to do something, they got to go to the higher powers. I mean, we're the small fry.
And then you got the immigrants that come over here that people complain about, but somebody's hiring them and paying them money to table. And we talking about rich. So we don't talk about that enough, but you can't complain on something.
That's true.
Yeah.
A lot of people.
Oh, go ahead, yo.
No, go ahead.
Go ahead, Art.
I said you can't complain on one hand and then later on, bankroll them under the table.
Yeah, I mean, that happens a lot. I mean, even a lot of immigrants, and most people relate that to being more Mexicans. Not even just Mexicans. I was just looking at a border crossing where the border patrol was going over there. There were more black people that they were taking over at the border than anybody. I'm like,
well, the Haitians are coming over now, so the Haitian people. It's
exactly.
Oh no, we can't let them niggas go. Y'all can let the Mexicans, can't let the Haitian people go.
But that's the point of entry too, because I know at one point I was reading articles. They always had, when they said they kept seeing a lot of rugs over there all throughout the desert. They'll sit there and pray, and then run off and lead the rug and go to the next location and do the same thing. So a lot of Muslims are traveling on that same road, because I know a guy, he does it every time. As soon as they boot him out, he's Mexican. He come right back in 5 days. He said if he take the easy way, he'll get caught. But if he take the longer way, it'll take him 3 days to do it, but he'll get back over here with no problem.
Dang, man.
And it's just very interesting how, speaking of immigration and what's going on at the border, remember when President Trump didn't want anybody across the border. He wanted to shut down the border and shut down all immigrants, regardless of race. And the thing is that now the Democrats were up there talking about, oh, what would Jesus do? We have to help them. Well, now the color is black, and now they found the money, they found the airlines, and they shipped all those Black Haitians back overnight. And that's and this is the craziness of these Democrats. They play a good game, but the thing is, they're far more racist than Republicans, in my opinion.
So let me ask you guys this then. I got the experts here. What is Trump's? Do you think he's going to make a big comeback? And what are your indicators? What are you seeing?
Is this a question to me or Jay or anybody?
Well, anyone that has some kind of insight on this.
Okay, I'll jump in. Trump's not been out of office a year. So, I think right now we're all getting adjusted to this Biden administration. I'm not delusional. I know that we have 4 years with this Biden administration. And so I want to see where we go with this. I want to see what the things that affect me. I'm not focusing on immigration and illegal immigration as I am focused on the economy and where all this free money that they gave these people for 2 years going. I want to see where this administration deals with the global problems that are going on within China and other countries that are trying to dictate to us and us dictate to them. How America continues to push this virus and how America continues to push the shots and see in this administration fight with the Supreme Court, trying to circumvent existing laws that are in place and then getting booted out. So it's a lot. So to bring Trump into the picture, Trump's not president anymore. Trump, when you relinquish power, you relinquish power. Now, if he wants to get up there and get a stadium with 10,000 people cheering on his ego, that's him. But the reality is our lives are affected by who's in leadership at this time. And at this time, it's the Biden administration. And some of y'all love this man, and some of y'all did not even voted for him. I think the man's cuckoo for Cocoa Pops. I think the same thing with the Kamala wannabe Black Harris. She's not a descendant of slaves. She's not Black. She's from India. Her mother and her father are from India, and her father's part Jamaican. I am a descendant of slave. I can trace my ancestors back to 1854 and 1619. And I've talked about this on my channel. So, and that's no disrespect. I know there's Blacks who watch this who are not descendants of slaves. But, for us who are part of the Black colonists who contribute in the process of this country and family who died and bled for this country, I think that we have priority issues and minority issues. And to be focusing on what's Trump going to do next doesn't pay my bills at this time.
So I guess the angle of the question is, how will the Republican Party make a comeback, or if any at all?
Flagship, you want to take this one?
Well, the thing is that if Trump is their only option, in my opinion, because there's no one that in the wings. They don't have an Obama type person on their side. They're already destroying Tom Cotton, who didn't even have a chance. But if he did have a chance, that little bitty chance is gone altogether. So Trump is their only shot in 2024. Pence does not have the charisma. Pence is boring, and Pence is not a number one. He's a number two. And that's the thing that, that's frustrating about the Republican Party. They have a lot of number twos. And you got to have someone who's going to be that dude. And Trump's that dude. Now, as for me, what I didn't vote in 2020 because I was just like, I was just pissed all together at Trump. This big old Bravo alpha dude, he up here talking trash on Twitter. Dude, drop kick somebody. Like, you're in the presidency. Make an example out of somebody. Like, who are you? Who did he beat up? He didn't beat up anyone. So in 2024, it has to be him or it's going to be nothing. Now, the thing is, regarding Shirley, what you said about Trump, was one thing that was I definitely want to say is that I definitely want to see how this whole thing with the vaccinations. I'm sorry, I can't say that right. The Jim Jones, I should say. It's very interesting to see what the Jim Jones is going to be. And how they're going to implement that and just kind of see what's going to go on with this whole my Sharona flu. So,
now you say if you think it's going to be Trump, I disagree. Trump's going to be almost 80 years old, And it's going to be somebody else. It could be one of his kids. It's going to be somebody else. Could be a Chris Christie. Whatever it needs to be, it's going to be somebody.
No, it ain't going to be no Chris Christie.
Look, I believe we're on the verge of a revolutionary war. You have too many people, especially in California, where you have a lot of falsified truths about this voting process. A Republican or Democrat, it really is not about that. It is about what is in the best interest of the American people, what's in the best interest of Black people. And Black people get distracted. Like that sister came on talking about, let's talk about Africa. What can I do here in Southern California and I'm going to go help somebody in Africa when I can't even help the Negro downtown LA? I can't even help the Negro who's going to get kicked out because of 2 years of not paying his mortgage or taking them EDD checks and not saving his money.
500,000 homeless Black families, the biggest increase in homelessness in history. Black folk. And they're bringing in Afghan immigrants and bringing in immigrants at the border.
And they're making the Nigerians look like a bunch of Negroes being caught in the 1800s with ropes and horses. What you say, Art?
You mean the Haitians?
Yeah, the Haitians. I'm sorry. Yes, the Haitians. I mean, if you're going to let them in, then you let the Haitians in. Oh, we don't want the Haitians. We want the El Salvadorians. We want the Latin. We want the Latin community. Stupid.
So well, here's the thing that I would have to put out there. Now, we're saying that we're seeing, or would you say that the left is letting these Afghanis and these other Latinos in, right?
Yes.
And at the same time, it looks like the left is pushing back on the Haitians and doing all kinds of Jim Crow / slavery stuff, right?
Yes, and pushing Black families onto the street and homelessness with rent control prices, rent increasing, and stagnant wages.
So let me ask you this: what is, if the left is doing that, how come the right's not coming in to try to fight against it?
We have no allegiance to the right. They don't care. We don't vote for Black people do not vote for Republicans. The Republican Party doesn't owe Black people anything. They owe the American people stuff. Yeah, true, because they're politicians, but they don't owe us specifically anything because we've always voted against them since the 60s, which is a bad idea with the big switch, I should say. But the thing is, they don't owe us anything. And the thing is that honestly, and I'm kind of glad they're not really helping us unless we promise them something because we're the only
Haitians. I'm sorry. The Haitians.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, I'm talking about the Haitians.
Oh, because the Republicans don't want immigrants altogether. They're all against all forms of immigration. They don't want it in. And so that's why they're not fighting for them. They're not fighting for anybody.
Well, we as Black people can talk about Republicans and Democrats. It's really us. I have a different viewpoint on all of this. I think that if we as Black people don't have an agenda, if we can talk about the fact that there's money in the set-asides and governmental programs. We talk about government programs. Black people think of WIC. We think about EDD. We think about Section 8 and welfare, right? But there are government programs that if you have a legitimate business and you can get a SAMS number and you're a nonprofit or a for-profit, you can get a government contracts set aside for minorities. Well, these people come here. They already know that they have their attorneys, nails or rackets. They already know people who are on the inside, and they get those government set-asides that were for minorities, which were technically descendants of slaves. But a lot of stuff we just don't know because we're too stuck up on the two-party issue. That's not our problem. Our problem is not knowing what rights and what we should be able to acquire and what we are in this country and what we're not getting.
Now, what, as Black folks, what opportunity, can you give us an example of some of the opportunities that we're missing out on?
Some of the opportunities that we're missing out on? Well, one of the
a couple examples.
Part of the examples are, like I told you, there's things called the set-asides. If you look up and you get certain numbers, like if you have a business and it's if it's a profit for profit, not nonprofit, because Black people go into nonprofits. You get a profit business. You can go to zimbusiness.com and start a profit business. You get an E&I number. Okay, now I got my E&I number. Now you've got a concept or a passion for something you want to do. Then you realize, how do I get clients? One thing I always tell people to do is look for what governmental contracts, the small contracts you can acquire. There's a gentleman on YouTube. His name is Eric Coffey. Eric Coffey does a deep detail of government program set-aside contracts for small business. I believe African American people are entrepreneurs. But what we do is we continue to look for the give me versus us saying what's set aside for us and take advantage of it. The disadvantage on the flip side of that is that there's other people in other aspects of this country that get certain benefits. For example, when the Afghanistanis get here, they're giving them 23 or at least 2,500 plus per family in America. Now, why are Black people up in arms about that? When COVID hit, they gave the Native Americans $800 million. Why weren't African Americans up in arms about that? When Wells Fargo was helping small businesses, they gave the Latinos millions of dollars
for housing.
For housing and for business. Why wasn't the Blacks up in arms about that? So again, we always do address the issues of police brutality, homelessness, and things in our community, but we need money. We need liquidity. We need to understand not just governmental checks to keep us suppressed under the Lyndon B. Johnson, a great society ideology. We need to look at ourselves and say, okay, if there's set-asides, if there's money set aside for small businesses or minorities, do I qualify and where do I go? And I told you, Eric Coffey is one of my guys, and he does a complete breakdown in those videos.
And just to go a little further, just the set-asides specifically are like, for example, like government grants to start a business, government grants to where you get help with your business, you get assistance with like mentorship and things of that nature. Set aside for say for example, like I know Erica Williams talks about this on her channel, but she buying land like maybe like 30, 45 minutes outside the city and get a USDA loan. And so things like that. So those are the set asides and things that we don't really know about, and how they skew the language within those set policies. It's very difficult for foundational Blacks to qualify. It's normally for immigrants or for minority Latinos or minority immigrants, minority people of color or women or something like that. So it's very difficult to get. And so the thing is that we have to go look for it. Meanwhile, if you're an immigrant, this stuff just kind of comes to you. So that's why when we're asked about stuff that's going on in the continent of Africa, I'm like, wait, Black folks are the majority of people over there. Handle business. Burn it all down. Do something. Like, we can't go over there and do anything.
No, I think we get distracted by so many other people who want to get online and argue or on different premises. Look, save yourself. Focus on yourself. Focus on your family. Look for reciprocity. If people aren't going to add value into your life and nothing but take out from your life, you don't need those kind of people in your life. You need people that are going to add value to take you to the next level. And if they don't know how to get to the next level, don't be the smartest person in the room. I tell my sons that all the time. If you are the smartest person in the room, your room is going to limit your access to growth and opportunity.
So can you name some, is there any like candidates out there, regardless of their ethnicity, would be able to at least have their ear to our needs as Black people, whether they're Republican or Democrat?
I look at candidates different.
I'm not candidates. I'm sorry, people in office.
I think that you have to look at your local officials. You have local, state, and federal, right? So let me break that down. Local is your local cities, whatever city you're in. If you're in Los Angeles, the city council, what's going on in the school districts, maybe pertaining to your children, how they're being treated by the teachers or the school board. Those are your local. Then you have your state issue as far as your governors, your mayors. The state has certain set-asides as well. You might get a state appointment. I served on 2 state boards. I served on the geophysicist board for the state of California. What did I get? I got an airplane ticket, a hotel, and $100 a month. And I did that for like 4 to 6 years. So
the set-asides.
But that's not a set-aside. That's an appointment.
Okay.
So I make it clear. So then we go on a federal level. Again, the federal level also has federal appointments that will pay you a position, or you go to the state level and you look for certain small businesses to get those set asides.
But so that's what I was going to ask too. Is like, is there a specific like assemblyman or Congress or councilman, mayor, or any of those people can get you access to that, or is there any specific positions that a person has to hold?
Well, okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That was it.
As for me, I'm not looking to the political process at all. I'm done with voting. I think voting is, and again, people correct me if I'm wrong. I think for us, it's the dumbest thing. It doesn't work.
You say this around Shirley? Okay.
I'm sorry.
I'm saying
this. I told her this. I told her this before. But I think voting does absolutely nothing. We lost with these things, and especially voting for a Democrat as a black person should be the last thing we should do. Anybody but D's. All the bodies that have been mounted in the name of the Democratic Party, and let's just be the bigger person. Oh, we just got to get him in so we can get what we need. Oh, he's learned his lesson, and ain't no one learned a damn thing. The bottom line here is the voting booth has done nothing for us. It never will. The time for votes to actually count has passed. It's about power. And the thing is like, the biggest way we can help ourselves, we got to get communities of black people together to get businesses started, as well as businesses, as well as get guns as well. I'm sorry. Business and guns. That's what we need to be focused on. Business and guns, because if you got the money, you got the economy, and you got the guns to protect your businesses from all the mobs that happened from 1865 all the way up until like the 1980s, where the MOVE organization. We have to really get ourselves together, and we have to focus on getting and now local. Now, I'm sorry. There's certain things that we can vote for. Get these DAs. We need to start owning DAs. Once we get our economy together, we need to start putting money behind DAs that we completely entire career is built on the institution of black businesses that came together and put money behind that candidate and the judge. So DAs, sheriffs, and judges is where we need to completely be after we get our economy together, get our money and our guns together.
Okay, so go ahead. You finished?
I'm done with all that bull crap.
Okay.
Oh yeah, sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So here we go. We're gonna get into another chapter here.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the master teacher, BGS.
Oh Lord, here we go. Now I don't get an introduction like that. What the hell?
You can become the master teacher, and you will.
Oh, Negro, you okay?
Nah, don't start, Shirley.
No, I'm gonna be nice tonight to you.
Don't start, Shirley. You know I'm not the one to cross swords with.
Neither am I. So let's not have fun tonight. But go ahead.
Oh, BGS, I've listened to your. I think I listened to your channel before.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, how you doing? Honor to you, sir. Honor to you, and
appreciate you.
Positive energy. Absolutely love your channel.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I was hoping that she bit the hook on the Larry Elder thing, but we kind of glossed over.
Well, Larry Elder was never a serious candidate. That's like she didn't bite. There's nothing to bite on.
There's nothing to bite on. He's right. He's right. I mean,
but how did he get 2 million votes?
Because it's a protest vote. In other words, they weren't voting for Larry Elder; they were voting against Gavin Newsom.
That's correct.
Yeah, had nothing. And Larry Elder just happened to be the most recognizable name on the list. That's all. I said that when I first looked at the list. I said, okay, why is Larry Elder actually promoted? Because you look at who knows anybody that was on the other 45 people.
Yeah, even had Angelique.
Angelique who?
That's the
big chick.
Oh, okay.
The
might as well. She probably got 1 million votes.
Hey, well, Caitlyn Jenner got 1.1 vote. Look, the reason why Larry Elder's on the ballot because Larry Elder is what I call like the rest of them. He's a shock jock. California votes on popularity. They didn't look at criteria. He was better than the other guy. Why do I vote for Larry Elder? Well, he's better than the other guy. Oh, he's a Republican. Okay, I'll vote for him. What will he do?
Yeah.
I don't know. They just say vote for him. That's how people think in California. It drives me mad.
Well, you don't like the guy in office. You have to have a protest vote. If you say you're gonna recall him, got to pick another name. Said, okay, who do I know that's in this list? Okay, Larry Elder, I heard of him. Give me him.
Well, here's the thing. There was a viable alternative. That's what frustrates me. The whole thing. Former mayor of San Diego, Kevin Falconer, he jumps off by himself. He jumps off the page. I mean, San Diego. He took the entire he redid the whole entire San Diego economy. Unemployment for Black people is like 3%, which is like nothing. He increased tourism. He brought four major businesses to San Diego that signed 200-year leases. So it's gonna be jobs for 200 years. I mean, he was by himself. He could run for governor by himself and clearly be an amazing person.
Well, he needs to run for governor. The thing is, do people know?
Well, he did. Well, he did run for governor, but
okay. Well, let me say it again. You look on the list. Do people recognize him?
And that's the thing.
No.
Yes, it's called politics, sir. Okay.
And the Republican Party put their money behind Larry Elder, and that's the problem. When they could have easily put it behind him.
In other words, if you put it behind him and nobody knows him, who's going to vote for him? Because nobody knows him.
No. California is always based on popularity. I mean, I've worked on a lot of campaigns.
Every election.
Every election. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, I worked on, remember when Arnold was running, we sat in a room with Daryl Isis people, and Daryl paid for that recall. This is the Gray Davis. I'm going back in time. And they said, if Arnold run, will you step down? Daryl said, yeah. And I don't think that was the best decision that could have been made for him, because we ended up with Arnold, and all we had was filibusters the whole time. This is a weird state. People don't understand California, but it's not even based on the criteria of you being able to execute and do the job well. Sometimes it's just, whoever the most popular guy is. And that's how we vote. That's crazy.
We elected a president on the same thing.
Exactly. Even with Ronald Reagan when he was governor.
Yeah, Trump. I mean, we elected Donald Trump.
Well, it's the same thing.
So it's popularity.
Look, people chose Hillary over all the rest of those guys when she was running. Popularity, we chose Biden over Trump. He's better than that guy. Even
Biden's vote election was not necessarily a vote for Biden. It was a vote against
Trump. That's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had to get Trump out of office. That was amazing.
The thing is that okay. I mean, okay. People keep saying, well, it was popular. Look, dude. You sat over the worst economy and the worst pandemic in 100 years. Do you think you're really going to keep your job unless you do something really positive to get out of it?
Held that money back.
It is what it is. People say, well, Trump, Biden got elected because his vote fraud, blah, blah. I said, and Trump was the best president he sat over the worst economy and the worst pandemic in 100 years. Luck of the draw. Was it his fault? That's debatable. The thing is, you're the man in the seat, okay? And either if you pull through it and you get the things done, basically you write your own ticket for the next 20 years because you relegated a hero. If you don't get it done, guess what happens? You're gonna lose your job. And he did. And because and Biden just happened to be not Trump in this election.
That's true.
I like that. That's going to be my campaign when I run. I'm not this guy.
I'm not
that guy.
And that's the reason Larry Elder got 2 million votes. He wasn't Gavin Newsom.
That makes sense.
And Gavin Newsom is saying that he got more votes this time than he did last time. How true that is? Y'all believe that madness?
I don't know. I haven't looked at it.
It could be like, the heir of the super coon.
I don't even know how Gavin Newsom got elected the first time.
Hello.
I didn't even know who he was.
He's Nancy Pelosi's nephew.
Oh, well, okay.
But I remember he was always making talk show appearances when he was mayor.
Right.
So that's the only time I remember him.
Okay.
Other than that, as far as his dirty work and his handiwork, I know
No, he's one of them pretty white boys that got up in there, con people, looking like, and plus he's Nancy Pelosi's nephew. So what?
Bill Clinton. So
got a lot of money. Got a lot of money behind him. Had a war chest on this election. He had a war chest. I was understood like $45 million, and then Larry's talking, I raised $10 million. Negro, what is 10 million of 45? Come on now.
I was looking at it and said, okay, did people really want to elect Larry Elder as governor?
There are some people out there that really want him to win.
Really?
No, it was more. I want him over the other guy. That was really the election.
I was actually praying. I started actually vote for Larry Elder just because I really wanted people to, especially Republicans, get what they just deserve. You deserve to have him in office. I want him up there. And for 4 years, I want you guys will want him in office, Larry Elder. All he has to do for me is actually see Mammy before he does the speech. Okay?
Mammy.
Wrong. Look, the bottom line is Larry Elder wouldn't have been able to do anything because they would have done a filibuster anyway. This state of California is ran by Democrats, not Republicans. It's majority overall Democrats. Yeah. So, when people start complaining about stuff, I said, well, what are you talking about Republicans for? They don't run the states. When you became an open primary, listen, California became an open primary in 2010. And there were 4 Republicans who voted against it. And I know all 4 of those Republicans. And when they did that, they gave up that permanent slot. So now that when you vote, the dog catcher can run. It doesn't matter what party. I'm part of the purple party, the green party. There's no structure of what it used to be. So because of that, it's a free for all, and it's going to continue to be like that.
It should be. That's the way the country's supposed to be designed anyway. It's supposed to be an open election.
I disagree.
You look at the framers.
I'm not saying an open election is disagree. I disagree with open primaries. I think that you should have 2 of your strongest candidates from 2 of your most dominant parties.
Hold on, let her finish. Come on.
And let those candidates be your leaders. I don't believe I've seen now it's been 11 years since we turned into an open primary state. Have we gotten better? No, we've not gotten better as a state. We continue to get worse. Why? Because of the Democrat Party.
Well, that is the spirit of democracy. It's supposed to be open like that. It's supposed to have more than 2 parties. I'm
not saying that you can't have more than 2 parties. I said the 2 primary parties should be on the front of the line. And now you don't have 2 primary. You have 1 party that gets both sides. So for those who don't understand, open primary means in California, Democrat.
Anybody should be able to run.
Democrat. It doesn't mean that you get 2 different ideology viewpoints. You get the same viewpoints from 2 cuckoos from Cocoa Pops. And I don't agree with that.
Well, the thing is, but then that's not the spirit of democracy, is it? It's supposed to be open. A citizen that's qualified is supposed to be able to run.
Either way, you could do it what they did in Iraq. We have open elections. Saddam Hussein. Who's your only person on the ballot?
But I thought that Larry Elder was a libertarian. Why did he run as a Republican? He ran as a Republican.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, I saw it on the ballot.
Oh, okay.
That's another twister. You're right. Larry Elder has always been a libertarian. This is where the Republicans failed in this election, in my opinion, because I knew the people who worked on the recall. I said, let me get this straight. You took this football down to the 20-yard line, and all this let's recall. Everybody don't like Gavin Newsom, la, 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 la. I get it. Who do you have as your lead guy? If you go into a boxing match, you should have 1 guy and drive that 1 guy. You had like 5 different Republicans. You had like 45 other kind of people. If you want to show yourself as a united front and a united party, you should have had 1 candidate. Larry Elders came in at the end, and he was the most popular of those people. That's the only reason why Larry got those. Nobody likes John Cox. Me and John Cox have had work, so I don't get along with John Cox. He's not even from here. I think he's from Illinois, and then he comes here and runs, and then he goes away. Like, you won't hear any more John Cox. And then
he's like Alan Keyes.
Alan, who? He wasn't on the ballot.
I like it. Actually, I actually like Alan Keyes.
He ran in like 2 different states, didn't he? Like Atlanta.
Oh, he did.
Georgia and then Chicago. I think that was
okay.
I know he flipped out a couple times.
I like Alan Keyes, but he doesn't have enough charisma. That's the only problem with Alan Keyes.
With that.
Yeah, but the thing is that the reason that Larry Elder floated to the top because the Republicans had nobody. They didn't have anybody to run.
No.
That's obvious.
No. That's why I say, how do you start a football game, get to the 20-yard line when you never had a quarterback?
You know what? I really think they didn't really expect the recall to actually be get enough votes for the recall.
No, I disagree. There was a lot of effort, a lot of money behind that. So they've got to think that they were going to be able to get that recall. What I don't think they understood is that they needed to have a candidate that they were all behind, and there was too much division within the party.
That tells me that they really didn't expect to get a recall because they weren't prepared when it came. They had nobody. If you put a lot of money behind it and you expect to actually get the recall, actually expect to run, you would have somebody ready. If you didn't, that means you didn't really expect for it to go through. So it tells me. Because you would have been people with money that are prepared follow through, unless they don't expect to get something. Like they don't put enough time and attention into it. They didn't put enough time and attention into it because I don't think they really expected for it to actually happen, especially during a crisis.
I do think they expected it to happen. I just don't think they were organized. Organized in the sense that to really come together with one candidate.
I mean, it really wasn't hard. You had 46. You could have promoted anybody decent, like the brother said about the mayor in San Diego. Okay, how come you didn't put no money behind him? At least run some commercials. At least put him on the internet so people can get to know him.
Yeah, the only time I saw him was in the booklet.
Yep. I mean, well, he really didn't run himself. Okay, what campaign did he really run, even on the internet?
That's true.
You know, what did he do? Huh?
You know, I was behind the scene and I talked to Kevin Pastel. Kevin got third place and Kevin ran as a Democrat, and I told him he ought to switch to Republican to get more money. But he ran as a Democrat and he realized that people were running money against him. You know, it's really hard to see the difference between the Republicans and the Democrats in California.
Because there isn't one.
There isn't one. It's just a blurred line. It's just a blurred line state. So it's a little different than when you go to other states in the Midwest and you see what Republicans are like and Democrats. California is a blurred line.
It's called, when you look at them in other states, it's called racist. So that's what it's called.
Oh, they're not racist here in California?
They're different.
Race is light.
They're like racist 0 calorie. It's a little bit. It's a little bit different.
That's why you only have 3% blacks and 90% homeless blacks in California, but they're not racist.
Well, basically,
it's a different type of race.
Basically, Republican.
They're racist in California. Don't get it twisted.
Republicans and Democrats in California are actually limousine liberals. Okay, they're not really conservatives.
No.
There's no one more racist than a damn white liberal. They're the most racist people on the planet. I'm sorry.
No. you don't want to see.
They are.
You don't want to see them gun-toting, hardcore, sheet-wearing, right-wing.
No. We can deal with those people. See, when you deal with those kind of people, let me finish.
No, you can't.
Let me finish. You can deal with those people if we were on code and we had our guns. That's easy to deal with. You recognize that you deal with it, you protect your family, you defend yourself.
You're talking to an Army vet. You're talking to an Army vet. Go ahead, man.
Let me finish real quick. The liberals do.
You finish. Hold on.
Because let me put it to you this way. Everybody said there's a different type. No, the guy who's got the gun is the fucking threat. Okay, I'm not worried about if this guy put some backordered shit. That's some shit you worry about in the later. The guy who's the hardcore guy who's gonna come with the guns and the sheets, just like what happened years ago when the dude was playing his music and the guy just got a gun out of his car and shot him. Yeah, that's the type of racism that you kind of don't want to meet. We forget about that old time religion racism.
Don't go to Walmart in the South.
Now you better, if a black person goes anywhere in the South without a gun, you're a damn fool.
It's a damn fool.
You're a damn fool. I remember going to North Carolina to my great grandmother's funeral. There's about 12 of us who went to a goddamn Walmart. Each one of us was armed.
Yeah, you can tell they strap up in there, man.
Look, the South believes in open carry, and I get it. So you see black people with guns around here all the time. So these white people know what they're dealing with. It ain't like the Negroes in Chicago or LA or in the urban.
There's no such thing as open carry. Okay, you come from LA. Be a black man in LA, and I'm telling you, I've actually carried a gun in LA, right? Okay, and you have two choices, right? You're either going to be out there with your gun wherever you have it, and if you don't have it, you get shot by some other Jasper, right? If you do have it with LAPD, actually get risk getting shot by them. They're trigger happy in LA, okay? They see a gun, they flip out, and your life is in danger. So it's a 50-50 call. Do you want to wear it? Do you want to carry it? Because you better be a badass if you want to carry a gun in LA, especially being black.
I'm not talking about LA. LA doesn't have open carry. Texas has open carry. Texas just instilled 7 new gun laws. The open carry laws changed with the Black Panthers when they took guns to Sacramento with fishing license. And because of that, the governor at the time was Ronald Reagan. The president at the time was Nixon. And they were scared that those niggas had rights. And so they were detrimental to the state as a whole and took all the gun open law carries away.
Remember, you see the difference. Remember when they had their protest at open because they have the Malcolm X. Is it Malcolm X? I think it's the Malcolm X gun club in Dallas, right? And they made their protest and actually unloaded. Now they're marching around as is their right with open carry with their weapons, right? You know them Negroes got checked by those Dallas police in front of because I was looking at the tape.
What?
Did I stutter? Did I stutter?
Damn. No, I was just saying that in just it's ridiculous that they try to check them.
They did try. They don't try. They did check them. They took the weapons away. Okay. They did that. They did that with their brother, Master. Was it Master J?
Yeah, the Master J.
Okay. They tried to bring him up on charges for doing the same thing. You gotta know where you are.
And he was on like social media, like I'm like, bruh.
He's not doing anything different than the white boys do. The thing is, you got to know that this country, we always think that civilization is this big, thick thing, right? Civil rights is all these laws protect us. That's very thin. And if nothing else, Germany in 1933 shows you that can change in a heartbeat. Okay, they can change in a heartbeat. One day you have civil rights, gun carry laws, and black folks can march around with guns to protect themselves. The next thing you know, it's the purge. It can happen that easily, and you're outnumbered. You're outnumbered 5-1 as far as black males to white males, and then we ain't gonna talk about how many guns they have versus us.
And then half of you motherfuckers, like, look, majority of you motherfuckers out there don't even train with the guns, don't even believe in guns.
True.
Then the other half is like so effeminate that you might as well wear a dress.
They shoot.
So it's crazy because I'm gonna tell you one thing about it. What's the first thing that they do in Nazi Germany?
They grabbed all the guns. Number one,
they did. Number one, it was the propaganda. Propaganda is always the first step to war. Number two, they take your guns. Hey, we're just doing safety checks.
What?
In the businesses.
Yeah, but the thing is that we think that Hitler came in and did something special, right? If you go back to the history of Prussia and Germany, okay, they have been trained to obey a person like Hitler for 200 years. Okay, even the what they call it, the Prussian elite that actually brought Germany together, called the Junkers, right? They actually backed Hitler until they found out what they had. And by the time they tried to rein him back in, it was too late. They're the ones trying to assassinate him after they really found out what he was, because they supported him. They supported that authoritarian, do what you're told stuff. Okay, not the liberal Weimar Republic. And America supported him because Hitler was anti-socialist. Because the Weimar Republic was very socialist. And what's the first thing he did? He burned down a Reichstag, which is not the first time the Reichstag was actually burned down, because Bismarck did it too. Actually destroyed the Reichstag and chased out the socialists. So Hitler came in and did the same thing. The Junkers were actually behind it. And by the time they found out who he really was, it was too late. So Hitler really didn't fool anybody. He just told them what they wanted to hear.
Yeah, just like a great politician.
Yeah, well, yeah, that happens. But the thing is, you got to be careful. But the thing is, we have to understand that what we think of as civilization is very thin. And it only takes one event to actually trip it and cause a cascade. And then you're going to have problems. Like people talk about civil war. Civil war is probably not going to happen. Okay? Probably not going to happen. Just like when the Soviet Union broke up, you didn't have no civil war. Because you depend on you depend on toilet paper to come from one side of the country to the other. What happens if you actually decide to do a civil war? You're not used to having flushing toilets and running water in grocery stores, and not eating rations and top ramen and drinking out of a filter bottle. Black Americans do not want to be that uncomfortable to actually fight a civil war.
See, let me say this.
People fight revolutions when they don't have a choice.
Look,
everybody's revolutionary till you realize you can't go back to which it was.
Look, I know I'm a Negro. I know what I'm dealing with, what I am, what my people are, what my family has to do to survive in this economy, in this environment, and what I need to do to move forward. I don't need to go back to study Hitler. I don't need to go back and study all that past stuff, because
you better.
No, I don't.
Why wouldn't you?
Well, let me tell you why wouldn't I? Because right now I think that people are not conscious of the Dow and not conscious of how the American dollar is going. Why would I? Because I don't think people understand how COVID may affect them in the future, and we're so busy focusing backwards, we're not dealing with the reality of where we're at.
I
wish we were focusing backwards, but we're not.
I disagree with you. I don't think
most people's history don't go back more than 10 years. I can tell you that.
Focusing backwards, how is that going to put money in my pocket? How is that going to put money in my pocket?
Huh?
Because number one, if you end up in a situation like that again, you're going to end up with another goddamn Hitler. Because guess what? What happened for Hitler to get into power in the first place? Did you have a desperate people with a fucked up economy? Did they look for a scapegoat?
So let me ask you the question: what's the solution now?
What's the solution? Right now, the solution is basically a prayer that the people that are in the seat now know what the hell they're doing. Because if they don't, we're in for a very rocky ride.
So the solution is prayer and looking back.
Yes, because it's out of your hands. Okay,
but the scripture says.
Here's my question for you. What can you do to boost this economy? Because you're not bringing back the same jobs you had pre-COVID. A lot of those jobs are gone forever.
Well, you said we need to look backwards. So you tell me through your backwards ideology.
In other words, you need to look back to make sure you don't bring another Hitler in office.
And that's what I should do, be focusing on looking at bringing another Hitler.
And guess what?
Versus
nobody said you should focus. Nobody says you should focus. You should actually be multifaceted. You should be able to look forward and back, and in the current
now
state.
We're looking forward and back. Now I can agree with you on that aspect.
Because if you really want to get into things of that nature, you need to actually say, hey, why don't we get our boys in STEM? Because guess what? You'll have a job for the next how many years? You'll have a job for how many years? What about get your boys in the military? That's
Why don't you get your boys in a trade? Why don't you focus on trade?
First thing you have to get them to do is read. Okay. You can't get them into trade or trade. You can't get them in the military or in the.
Can we just find some alpha men to be examples for them?
No, basically you have to start with your school system. Alpha men is not going to do you any good if they can't read. First.
So once you get them in a trade, you got to hope that some foreign dude that owns these companies hire your black sons.
We're going to talk about some brass tacks because everybody likes to say trade. One, you got to be savvy enough to do the work, and to actually promote yourself, because my father's been doing it for 30 years. Every one of his clients is word of mouth. If you're taking some Johnny come lately, that's going to be very difficult for him to compete. And then you're competing against people who will undercut you, who will take peso wages, not dollar wages.
Or somebody
on top of it. Go ahead.
Or somebody's nephew, or
exactly. Yeah. Nepotism is a motherfucker.
Where do most men learn trades? Where do they learn them?
School.
What school? What school? What kind of school? Community college. Community college. Okay.
Yep.
Who's in charge of community colleges in most states? Your local school boards.
Yep.
So in other words, where should you start if you want them to learn trades? It's called your school board. You want them to learn trades? Don't say they need to learn trades. Start programs. Where the programs at? In your community colleges. They don't get any funding.
A lot of people listen. A lot of people learn trades from their own family members who are already in the trade. So if it's mechanic or if it's in plumbing, my nephew learned to be in plumbing and an electrician from his uncle and his uncle's uncle. So
could his uncle certify him?
He still learned the basics of watching, and then he went through the certification program. But but let me finish my thought. He was introduced. He was introduced through a family member who was already in trade. So I'm not saying. So I'm not saying.
Hold on, Charles. Let her finish.
So if you're going to get a certification, which I believe everyone, if you get a trade, you get certified, you go through school, and if it's online or if it's through the junior colleges, a lot of stuff is online now. So, eventually
you can't learn a trade online. Okay.
You can learn the introduction of a trade online. Eventually
you can't learn a trade online. Let me ask something. Where do arts and education? Where do the majority of people in the country learn trades? Community college.
Colleges.
When they go to beauty school, do they go to community colleges?
Yes.
No, they go to beauty schools that are not at junior colleges. Junior colleges is one of them, but there's other options. That's all I'm saying. I'm not disagreeing. Listen, I'm not disagreeing. Let me finish my thought. I'm not disagreeing with you.
You didn't let me finish mine. You let me finish mine. The thing is, look at the stats. Stop saying what we want, right? Where did they learn it at? I had an essay, went through community college to actually learn beauticians, right? Most of the guys I know, I went through a trade school in community college. That's where you learn it. If that's where they are, that's where you need to put the money and put them into the program. It's already there. Instead of all this other stuff. Minimum effective dose.
I think what Shirley's in California, the trades were taken out of the community colleges. I think that's what Shirley's talking about.
No, they're still there.
Because I know it. Because the only place, at least in LA, at least in Ventura and LA County, there's only one school that has electrical and plumbing, and the other ones have they only have like 8. It's like it's all spread out. It's like electrical and plumbing is like in LA, trade tech school, and then like we're going to do vehicles or mechanical stuff. It's in Ventura. It's very spread out. But this is California is very specific.
So in other words, but that's where they learn the trades, right? So if you want to fix the problem, where do you start?
Well, if you want to learn like electrical and plumbing, and you just go to one of the local trade unions to do it for free.
If you want to fix the problem, and the majority of people that go into these trades go to school.
Yeah, you go to the trade union. They have the school. It's for free. It's free. You don't pay no money.
Where do the majority of people learn the trades?
The trade unions.
Majority of people in California learn where? In community college.
The trade union.
No, the community college. Look at your stats.
It's called the voc ed department. They got voc ed. They got career technical education. They're all in the community colleges. Some of them have the adult school as well, but you still have to be in some kind of institution to get your certification. And even the ones that are like far away, because I think some of them are trying to refer to like these beauty schools that's somewhere on the corner somewhere, they still have to go through the jurisdiction of the local colleges to be certificated.
Certified, yeah.
So, but they don't have to listen to me. I don't know
what I'm saying is that the thing is, like I've gone through the programs. I talked to people in the trades. Where did you learn it? 90% of the guys say I learned it in the community college.
How old are those men? How old are those men today?
All of those men today. Now I'm 60, so they're in their 60s and 70s now.
Oh, okay.
I just said.
That's all I'm gonna say. Okay.
In other words, I just talked to people still going through programs. Okay, Trade Tech is still one of the biggest programs. You don't have enough. East LA is another one. Okay, a big program. Believe it or not, you already know it. Southwest College trains more nurses than most programs like USC. Thing is, if you want to increase trade, trade programs, where's the simplest place to start?
If you want to increase trade programs, you go to schools that specialize in those trades, and they may not be. Majority I'm finding today, they're not at junior colleges. They are a trade entity within themselves. Trade Tech is a trade entity with itself. We talk about beauty schools. People have certain beauty schools that are just set up for beauty. So you keep acting like it's just all trade schools, but I just think there's other access as well. And there's good money in it. It's just a lot of good money in trade.
Okay. So if you look here on the screen, let me see. Right here where you have service occupations, all this down here, sales, occupation. I mean, all these different things, fishing, farming, construction. We're top heavy in the trades. I mean, on the left side is the males, on the right side is the females. So we hitting up all the trades, transportation, material, installation, maintenance, all these things, right? But look up here. Okay. Right here where we have anything where it comes to legal. Look at legal occupation. 36,000. Right? So that includes like being a lawyer, all that kind of stuff. I mean, what I'm saying is that, you know, we're top heavy in the trades. We're almost like in the millions, right? But over here, when it comes to black male leadership, it's very far few between. So the question is, do you have anything against black males in charge and leadership and making these decisions to hire people in the trades? Is there any issue about that?
Well, there shouldn't be. I think that's fantastic. If we have black men in positions of power to hire more black people, that's the best solution for black men and women. But of course, you know, talking about being on top of with black men, I think that'd be fantastic.
No, not necessarily. You just have to be educated.
Yeah,
that's it.
Because look at HR. One of the biggest hurdles for a black man getting a career or job is HR.
And look at the women. Let me show you, because HR is very interesting. Where is HR at?
And then they want to talk about. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna say this real quick. But then these are the same women who will talk about why are black men working. You're keeping us from there. You have been the guard dogs from elevating into higher employment for decades.
The human resources, boy, wow. Because the thing is, who listens? I mean, in HR, who they have to listen to? The people in charge, right? They say, look out, you know, my nephew's coming through. So when you see his name come up, you know, put his name aside and take care of him. But since we don't have that.
Yeah, basically, I was actually saying this to, who was I saying this to? I think it was, I actually saying it earlier on our Livermore, right? In the late 80s, early 90s, they actually shifted the money from putting kids in school in the educational system to putting those same kids in prison. That's where your money went. $50,000, $60,000 actually locked a guy away for a year.
So here's HR right here. We got 1,800,508,988 for women in HR. And the men is like only 800.
You know, but we don't talk about in-house discrimination too, because sometimes you want to Do we help each other like they help each other?
Because these are only for black people, by the way. This is black.
I understand that, but if we look from a bigger perspective, how much do we help each other versus they help each other?
Women help each other all the time.
I'm talking about the Latin community. I'm talking about people who are not African American.
Mm-hmm.
Because in California, when you find out that the manager is Latino, all the other employees are Latino.
But you know what? Guess what? I'm glad you said that, because after they run out of Latino people to hire, then one of us that have a trade might be the lucky one to get hired.
Mm-hmm. So it's based on luck.
That's what I'm trying to say, is that when you're in a position to do the hiring, then you have better odds, and then you have better odds.
That's true. I agree with that. You're right.
So that's what
that's what he's been trying to say.
But everybody can say, "What about trades? What about trades?" I'm like, shit, we got plenty down here. You know, we got way more. You know, and I'm quite sure we can still, keep that going. But we're not putting any emphasis on people like your Robert F. Smiths and all these kind of people. You know, we're not putting any emphasis.
You know, if you look at these numbers go based on 2017. We're in 2021. And if we look at the movement of migration, especially within California, and the percentage of where we're at 5 to 6% as far as black people. That plays a part of it too. And so that's why.
Does it get better when you move?
Thank you.
Does it get better when you move? It depends on where you want to move to.
If you move to a majority black state, does it get better?
Better for what? In what sense?
For black people being hired, working, businesses, does it get better?
I think for me, I have my own business, so it's a global business. So
I'm saying, but I'm asking you, if we move to a majority black state or majority black area, does it get better?
I don't live in a majority black area.
That's not the question I'm asking you, though.
So I cannot answer a question that I have not been part of.
Because you
want me to answer a question I haven't been part of.
No. You're making a premise that the reason that we don't get jobs, you can't do anything, is because there's not enough of us, right? So if there aren't enough of it, does it get better? I'm
talking about in California right now. What's the percentage of blacks in California?
7%.
Nope, it's less than that.
Okay, what is it now?
I've got it between 4 to 6%. If you want to say 7%, then you can include the Africans, but I've not heard 7%.
They're black, so they don't differentiate.
I'm talking about descendants of slaves, or people who are born and raised in California, or people who are born and raised in America.
I didn't see that breakout, so I'm sorry.
Okay, so when we talk about trades, when I walk down the street and I see these restaurants, or I see someone in a trade, and most likely, especially in construction, because I'm in real estate. In construction, you don't see hardly anybody black or white. It's all Latino.
Yeah, because that's who they hire.
No, that's because they hire each other. They don't hire anybody but each other.
They're the same thing. They're still hiring each other, and you got your certificates and everything, but you're not getting hired.
No, because you're not Mexican. You're not Latino. You don't speak Spanish.
That's what he just said.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, he just said it. Yeah, he did just say it.
So
you need people in charge. That's what he's trying to say.
Like, even what I told you about HR, how the hell? I'm gonna tell you some real funky shit about HR. You got black women who will not hire a black man and willingly give those jobs to other races of men with no fucking problem.
You hitting some body blows there. I
you bored out
different corporations. You speak, that's body blows.
Like you bored out flat.
So what's your experience with it since you did it? Is he accurate or is he off?
No, I'm saying he's accurate. I mean, that's what I'm saying. He's hitting body blows because that's 1,000,000,000,000% true. Yeah, that's a body blow right there, and that's true.
And see, Shirley's talking like we got this loyalty in the black community from our women when we know goddamn well we don't.
I never said that at all. You're putting words in my mouth, mister.
I'm not saying that. Just saying. I'm just like this. I'm just giving you this reality.
No, I'm giving you reality. Don't make my name in a statement, sir. Don't make my name in a statement that I never said that.
I didn't put anything in your mouth.
No, you said Shirley said.
People in there. I said you're acting like I didn't say what you said. I said you're acting like we got this untold loyalty. I didn't say anything what you said. Now, what you're acting and projecting, I can speak on that, can I? Yes.
In your opinion.
So when we go up to this, you see these black men applying for jobs, you would think the women in HR who were sitting down there getting fat off the hog would hire their men. They don't.
I said that earlier. I said the problem you have within the communities that we don't always take care of each other. Did I not say that earlier?
Yes.
And just like we said earlier, like, look, you keep on saying they're not hiring us. Well, we told you like 10 minutes prior they're not hiring us. And then we keep on telling you the reasons why. They will cut off their nose just to spite their face.
They're not hiring us because we're not the percentage of people in California. They only hire each other. And that's the problem that we're having in California.
In other words, he just showed you a chart of how many black women in HR. It's you pretty much have a stronghold of HR. A lot of these black ladies would even hire their damn sons.
The thing is,
and those numbers that show the black women that are in HR, a lot of them are one of the things that how it's been broken down is like they're probably like lesbian or feminist, and they ain't hiring us. They will hire Brad and Becky and anybody else. And anecdotally, for me personally, I got connected with a friend of a friend who I went to college with, who I helped in college. And so I was definitely qualified and everything like that. And I just knew I was going to be a sure-in. And so come to find, I didn't get the position. And come to find out, she said she just didn't like the fact that you just thought that you were just better than everybody else.
Black shit.
One of the things they didn't. You hear me now?
Go ahead. Just take it back like 10 seconds because I missed a crucial part of it.
Well, no, the thing was that because I was definitely overqualified for the position with my military experience and my degree and everything like that. And it was an entry-level job that paid very, very well. So I just assumed, since I was already overqualified and had all this experience, I was going to get in. Plus, I helped somebody in college who knows the hiring manager. Well, the hiring manager didn't hire me because they said that they felt that they felt as though I was too overqualified for the position, and they wanted to go with someone with less experience. And I'm just like, this is a sister girl, like, it didn't make any sense. And so then, come to find out she's a feminist, and I'm like, whatever. So I ended up getting hired somewhere else. So, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's the case of it. I'm pretty sure, like, I'm not going to say Shirley's a feminist. She never gave me any of those tones or anything like that. But guess what? Shirley's rare.
Yes.
Whereas Shirley would hire the brothers, majority of these women who go to these colleges, is the first year, they're so indoctrinated with feminism, they're pissing it out. And as soon as they get to these positions with these communications or whatever bullshit degrees they're coming out with, they already got a chip on their shoulder that they're better than you. Oh, you looking for work? But then they'll come out their mouth and say, I can't find a man on my level. Make that make sense.
Well, and then also, one thing with Shirley has helped Black folks get businesses started. She's helped Black people get into trades. The Black Coalition of Trades, she's connected Black folks who want to get in trades with the president of the organization. So yeah, you're right. Shirley is very, very rare. But the thing is also what I was saying earlier is that us as Black men, because we're Black men, we can get it together. All we gotta do is just get together and get it going. And so, and that's one of the things that I'm trying to do right now is trying to get my own business started so I can hire more Black people and really start getting Black economy together with a gun culture, because you can't have a business without guns because business is war.
And I think we don't pay attention enough to this kind of chart up here as well. It's because it seems like, how it is in traffic in the morning. It's not everybody's trying to get to the same spot, but there's other places where you can really get some good money.
And it seems like, and no pun intended on trade people, but it seems like they rather reach forward than high, if that makes sense. They rather just reach in front instead of reaching way up to the ceiling. And I'm like, damn. Then the whole thing is that you have a whole team of people even push you to reach forward instead of the whole team of people push you to reach up. Where it's not that kind of reality in other cultures. And we sitting there like complaining why we ain't where we should be.
You know, another thing that where I think that we can easily do a loop around and kind of skip over and be in charge of a certain industry is this whole thing with Space Force, aerospace, like getting your pilot's license and things of that nature. That's coming. That's another industry that's going to be huge in the next 20, 30 years that no one's really focusing on. And if like Black families that got money can send their kids to get their pilot's license, as well as get into aerospace engineering, we can easily do a step aside and scoop around because no one's really focusing on that. And no one talks about the Space Force thing and how there's billions going to be invested in Space Force, not just in this country, but trillions. Yeah. Well, I'm talking about annual budgets. We billions annually, year after year after year, and no one's really focusing on aerospace engineering. Get your pilot's license, get your helicopter license, and this whole Silk Road that China's doing.
You know what they have to do first? If you want Black men to focus on that, they have to learn how to read first.
This is the problem.
You have 10% of your Black boys nationwide that read at reading level.
At 8th grade.
Where are these engineers actually going to come from?
We gotta.
I want him to answer the question. Where are they going to come from?
We have to create it. We know what the problem is, and I'm sitting here with a group of Black men who are obviously overwhelmingly capable of doing anything. This is what I'm talking about. We got to come together in little and small, not big groups in a big major way, because you don't get power in the big groups. Power comes in small numbers with a code. If the five of us or everyone on this channel say, "Hey, we want to at least help 10 people, 10 Black boys read," we can just start there.
Mm-hmm. How about we go down and ransack the whole school board and change the whole program?
I don't want to look to their institutions. I want us to build our own institution. I think.
Good luck. We tried that.
But what I'm saying is but what I'm saying is if all of us there's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 of us on the planet. 5 of us on this chat.
I'm in the conscious community. We've already done that for 30 years.
Go ahead and highlight it, Art.
Art can tell you. Okay, we've tried that. I can't tell you how many people that have little schools to teach little Black boys to read, all kinds of stuff. Can't tell you how many people actually know. Why don't we try to change the system from the inside out? Because you're in the system whether you like it or not. You got to go through them anyway, right? How you gonna get in space or get a pilot's license, anything like that, right? If you don't go through them, you're part of the system.
Because I mean, in the school, I'm in the they kind of strong army, so they made me do another year in the school site council.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't nothing coming up for the advocacy for Black boys or Black girls. It's all about English language learners and helping immigrants make the bridge and all that. Those are all coming in.
And keep in mind, Art's in California. So California is a different breed of education. And we don't have that many of us left.
How about Baltimore?
Plenty of Black children in schools, though. And a lot of Black children are far below basic. And it does apply to the LCAP. So they should be in the budget, but so many administrators ignore that. And so they're comfortable with letting the Black children increase in special ed, take all these remedial classes. They're far below basic in math and English, but at the same time they have high graduation rates.
Mm-hmm.
The school,
no child left behind.
We leave the school probably 5 or 4% college and career ready, and they leave the school with that whole maybe
low percentage as far as even being ready for anything in the world.
Yeah, because when I was actually in trade school, man, it's got to be like in the 90s, right? You know, first thing they actually put them in, you look at the curriculum, the first thing they put them in is remedial reading and mathematics.
Yep.
First thing, because they don't know how to read or do math. They can't do the work if they can't do math or read properly.
I got a funny one for you. After they finish remedial, they throw them in the regular mainstream class, and when they failing or whatever, ain't no help for them. and they still.
You know what they did to me when I was? Oh, sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying they still like do the whole social promotion thing after that.
Yeah.
You know, it was interesting when I was in before I went to kindergarten. My parents were workers, so my grandparents would babysit me during the day. My grandmother taught me math, and my grandfather taught me how to read. So I was already reading before I went to kindergarten. When I went there reading, doing math and stuff like that, being good in the class, I kept getting referred to put in the bathroom and stuff like that. And so the things, I know it sounds difficult, but I mean, I hate the public school system because the black kids that do know how to read and have good family structure, they attack you. They call you a know-it-all.
Yeah, it's not even just that.
Yeah, bro, it is what it is.
Yeah, you might hate it, but you might hate it, but guess what? Where's the majority of kids actually going to go? Really?
Even if you go to Catholic school, guess what? I went to Catholic school. They had the advanced class and they had the normal class. Guess who was the majority of the advanced classes?
Not us.
The girls.
Yeah.
Guess who? It was only me and my boy Ern, and maybe one over the boy.
That was probably me. I was the other one. Because I was in the advanced class, and they kicked me out of it because they're just like, we don't like you. You have your behavior problem.
I was the only person in my high school chemistry class, right? Only black person, right? My high school trigonometry class, okay? Four people in my algebra class, okay? I've been there. I know what you're talking about. I'm one of those kids. I'm one of those kids who got saved because the teacher wanted to skip me. My mother didn't. They sent me to a white school to save me. Okay, I know what you're talking about. I know what it takes. But the vast majority of the kids will get left behind if you don't change things.
And I'm gonna do a little live stream either tomorrow or Friday where I'm gonna talk about when you have a lot of dysfunction. When you have a lot of dysfunctional sons, there's usually a mother behind it.
Yeah, and the thing is, because I remember this, because I actually suggested this because I've been in this game a long time, man. Okay, and this was 2008. Okay, and we actually had an online radio program back in 2008, right? Talking to a teacher in Philadelphia about flipped classrooms. Okay, because the city of Philadelphia actually pays 20 back then. This is 2008. This is like 13 years ago. Paid $21,000 per student. Okay, enough to send that kid to Harvard. Okay, what do you do with the money? Where does it go? How can you build programs to actually educate these kids? Okay, or educate the mother to keep the kid at home. And actually do, partially what we're talking about. I actually said years ago, this is like 20 years ago, the average kid gets 7 minutes with their teacher. I don't care who you are, right? The average public school kids get 7 minutes with their teacher. Okay, how can we get better outcomes with kids? And where do you start? This is 13 years ago.
I have a question for you, and please don't throw rocks at me and don't check me. I have to ask the question.
I got a brick for you, Sonny. Okay, but
just bear with me because when I listen to and maybe y'all might like the person as well. When I listened to Dr. Umar Johnson's speeches, he was literally out exactly the crap that I went through in school, and his solution opening up that school, I was like, I'm for it. I spent money. That's kind of where I'm going. I love that idea and ideology. Is that right? Is that, because I mean, y'all in the system, y'all in the belly of the beast. Is that wrong? Am I offline? What do you think?
Okay, the thing is, that's fine. There's the ones that do make it. Okay, they're shining example. The thing, how many of them actually fail? that started to do that. I know so many guys, so many people that started a school, and good schools, very well, good teachers, all that kind of stuff, right? And they failed. 90% of the African American centered private schools fail.
Hey, BGS.
Why is that?
We don't support it. Okay, that's why it is. You don't have the mindset to actually support a private school. A lot of black people do not believe in education like you think they do, which is a problem. So how do you take it out of their hands? That's the issue. How do you build a program where it will actually succeed in spite of them, not because of them? Unless you want to take another 100 years to actually change black people, what do you want to do?
Listen.
Go ahead.
Don't save everybody.
Listen.
Huh? But then you're going to be by yourself then. The people like
everybody.
A person like you or me is gonna make it no matter what school they're in.
My parents started a school for black kids, and they ran it for 40 years until they passed away. It was in Los Angeles. It was called Tiny Town College. It was on 39th and Vermont.
I remember that. I remember passing by it. And those
so he started off as a private school, and then when black people couldn't afford it, my father was one of the first African American men who could get people nonprofit papers. And as a child, when I was 12, I would fly with him to Sacramento when other people didn't know how to do it. And I would watch him do the process in the 70s and the 80s. So, you know, there were men then and there are men now. There's a gentleman that's a friend of mine. His name is Damon Smothers. He's out of New Orleans, Louisiana. He started a school called the Smothers Academy Preparatory School for Boys. And I remember this was a vision he had. He was from Louisiana. He moved to Bakersfield, and he said, "I want to do a black boys' school." I said, "Are you serious?" He says, "No, I'm serious. I want to do a school for young black men because we don't see it." And he had the same ideology like BGS says. You know, black boys can't read, and we need to get this resolved. And so he started the school in 2015. And that preparatory school is doing well. Smothers Academy Prep School is doing well today. So again, people do have visions, and I look at the success versus all the failures. And that if they can do it, and if that is your passion, then I would say go for it.
I say the same thing. But the thing is, we're talking about the rest of the folks, okay? Because we can go to what's Onion Palmer School? What's the name of that?
Marcus Garvey.
Marcus Garvey, been there for years, right?
Yeah.
For years. It's a success. Been there for like, what, 40 years now?
Since the 70s.
Yeah, about 40, 50 years, right? Okay. How many Marcus Garveys do we have in California?
One that I know of. There was something like that in Pasadena.
Ain't no black people in California. I'll get you out thinking
there's
no
still
black
almost
people in California.
In Southern California, there's almost 2 million black people.
Okay. How many Mexicans?
Doesn't matter.
Oh, okay. All right.
No, it doesn't matter.
It used to be a part of Mexico.
It does matter. When you're not the majority and they're the majority and you're treated like a piece of crap.
Let's use your argument real quick. Baltimore is roughly almost 70% black. What's the excuse? Do black people overall in this country take education
Baltimore
seriously?
is a mess.
But it's 70% black, almost 70% black, right?
Whose fault is that?
Because Baltimore has been infested by Democrats and libertarians and liberals who have heavily infested the community of people who are government dependent and so many things. I mean, when you go to Baltimore, that's a whole different Negro than California. That's a whole different Negro than California.
Where's your excuse when you get almost more money than any city in America for education? It should be, but yet, here's the question. Even just like you have 2 million black people there, what's the excuse? How much money can 2 million black people generate for that school?
What I find fascinating is how you use certain words like excuse, which I've never used in talking about the Latino community versus the black community.
In other words, what's the excuse? Meaning, you keep on saying that, hey, there's a lot of Mexicans there. If there's 2 million black people who can fund this school or create another one or several of them, what's the excuse?
They don't want to. Why?
There
Why?
you go.
Okay, so let me ask you this question. Since we're so pro-black, why should they, when you have athletes, celebrities, well-positioned people, very wealthy black people, we probably have the most wealthiest black communities in the country. Why haven't those black people stepped up? What's their excuse?
They have.
So what's their
children?
excuse?
For their children. I mean, you got to remember, PG is probably one of the places where you have a lot of the richest black people. Their school systems are doing pretty damn well.
The best black school, private school I've seen run was not even black. It's actually ran by Asians. Castle in the Clouds. Like 90% of their students were black.
And then after
you see all the expensive Mercedes and Benzes and BMWs pull up to that school every day when I took my daughter. Okay, but nobody tells you about them because nobody wants you to know. Rich people know where to take their kids.
That's true. Now that's true.
And then let's be real serious. You're gonna have to go to parochial schools if you really want to educate your kids like that. But how many are actually going to get scholarships or capable of getting scholarships? We go back to the lack of reading and mathematics. Then on top of that, you got to look at the people's income. As a group of people, we're barely making it above water.
And that's why I was saying we got to start with just a small critical mass because what we've gone through is so crazy and outrageous. Try to help everyone to bring everyone too much. It's a small critical mass. Have to start there.
Yeah, you know what? I've been hearing that for 40 years. I'm kind of tired of hearing it. I've been hearing that. Everything that you're saying, I've heard for the last 40 years. Art can tell you. How long were you hearing this, Art?
Yeah, several years.
Dude, we just got to go down to
several decades, right?
For sure.
You just got to go down to City Hall and vote. There's no black people down there.
The best way to teach black boys, you already know what it is. Give them their own curriculum. All boys school, easy. Monahan said that back in 1965. Guess who doesn't want that to happen? Black women.
Yep. They're gonna leave us.
I think it's something about black male leadership and development.
They don't want black male leadership and development. We got to look at what's on the table. They don't want. I actually read. In fact, I'm actually going to do that video. I actually read it from the lawyer that actually killed the first all boys black school in Detroit in 1992, and why she did it. Okay.
What did she say?
She said she didn't want.
She's in charge.
She didn't want black males to be in what she calls a male-dominated patriarchal system where they'll actually learn how to lead. Okay, learn how to be in charge and not be inclusive. Right, and that's why she killed it. That's why she helped kill it.
Can you please email me that shit?
Okay, I will.
What's the link? I want to read that too. What's the name of the person?
Let me pull it up. Because I actually marked it up.
Because that's going to be very important when I do that live stream. You cannot tell me that. I'm gonna say this.
Mm-hmm.
How that mother sees her son is how the world going to see him. And I'm sorry, a lot of mothers do not believe in their sons to be great. You will go and you will tell your daughters, go get your goddamn education so you don't depend on a man, but you'll tell your sons to go get a job.
Did your mother not support you when you were younger?
What happened to the word rare?
No, I'm just saying, is that the case for you?
Am I rare?
Yeah, we're rare. I'm rare too.
Rare. My father and my mother actually financed me to wrestle overseas. How many black kids could have done that?
Yeah, I taught myself to read when I was a kid. Okay, I was reading on a 6th grade level when I was in 2nd grade because I taught myself. Okay, I was rare.
My father gave me comic books. Literally, I used a VCR at the age of 3 because he had a number system. Okay, how many people
at the age of 3? So.
How many people have this? You got to think about it. My grandfather only had a 6th to 8th grade education, but was a master mechanic. So what does that tell you? It tells you 2 things off the break. The drive is different through the generations, and 2, the education is a hell of a lot more intense then than it is now. The shit that you get for fucking 6th grade now, you probably 40 years ago learned it in 4th or 3rd. You literally got kids graduating high school who's never even typed up a goddamn term paper.
Mm-hmm.
Literally will look at you funny when you ask them, did you set up any bibliography cards?
So what's the solution?
Stop dumbing them down. Number one. Here's the Gray Faulkner initiative. I'll put it in the chat. I'll put it in there again. Because 1, you're gonna have to. This is what people are gonna have to do. Like it or not, you're gonna have to put black boys, in positions of leadership. You're gonna have to train them up. You're gonna have to get them away from mama's dress and put them where competitive men go.
Yeah.
Either give them to their fathers, which why would you have a child and say his father ain't shit? But then again, it falls back on you. If you're not going to put him in a position, just asking your child, what does he want to eat tonight, teaches him how to make a decision. Little things, little by little, step by step. Do we put our sons in places to be competitive, or do we neuter them?
So
because
go ahead and finish. I'm sorry.
Because when they go out there to compete with them white boys and them Asian boys and the job in the career markets, you wonder why. You're going to have to put them in education. You're going to have to put them, and we're going to have to build up some all black male schools with black male leadership in front of them.
And on that, Charles, I think a lot of parents don't see the competition that their children have to face.
Exactly.
Well, the irony is, like, I know probably you guys can agree with me. When I've been lucky. I have my mom and dad still. They did not play, and I learned a lot. The thing is, when I got into this corporate America, I was able to not only compete, but to be victorious over my Anglo counterparts. But then they would win not by the symposium of competition. They'll win with rumors and human resources, complaints that were lies, and yeah, exactly. But it was only me and another person, and we're just like, look, we're competitive, but we got to be on code when it comes to these cats. And you can't get promoted. You only can go so far. You win all the awards and competition, but then they're like, oh, you're just too emotional, or there's just something about you, we just can't promote you. And then you got the loser from another culture getting promoted over you, and then now they tell you, okay, show us that you're a team player, teach them your techniques. And I'm like, hell no, I ain't teaching you nothing. I'm going to teach you.
Let me say something. Being a mother of 3 sons who are grown men now. And I respect this panel, but I will say this much: being a mother of 3 sons, I never had that ideology that I hear a lot of you saying on this panel, that the black woman doesn't care about her son, or there's not enough black women. Maybe they aren't, but I've met the ones that are. I meet so many amazing African American women when I was raising my son, and we would talk, and people who I grew up in church with, and people I grew up in business with. So there are good women out there, and there are good mothers out there who have great sons.
Are there enough?
But is it my responsibility to make it enough?
No. The thing is, at this point, you got to do what you need to do. Take it out of their hands.
Because my mindset is, I believe that for me and the women that I associated with, Like I said earlier, being the smartest person in the room, you're going to find kindred spirits around you, right? You're going to find people who are like you, similar spirits like you, certain attitudes and expectations of. Let me finish my thought of your sons.
Y'all need to pick
like
up the sword then.
You know,
But here's the problem. How many black parents are willing to make cards phonetically for their children, how to spell and how to pronounce it, syllable by syllable?
Well, I'm older than you, so that's a different generation because I'm past that.
In other words, how old are you roughly?
My son is 30. Let's see, my oldest son's 32, 27, and 24. So yeah. So I don't have little kids anymore, but when they were little, they were great women who had the same passion and did everything that you said. So I think you have to give credit to the good moms. We talk about the bad moms, or we talk about the bad system. We need to give credit.
I want you to go back to my live stream and see why do we do not talk about the good women? Because it's such a small number.
And they don't speak up.
They don't speak up. It's almost it's pretty much.
I think that we do speak up. I think what has happened is we get pushed down. Like, right? Every time
Who push you down?
Well, the system and even within how media is. Our
it's
kind
the
of
other women that push you down.
Look, Village Hood said, "Surely you're a rare breed." The rare breeds don't rise to the top because there's too many of the cuckoos they would rather push up to the top.
That's what we're saying. We were just saying that. That's the problem. There's not enough of it.
It's not enough. It's like, where are you? It's like, think about this. Even for dating, is the average black woman out there a wife material for your sons?
It depends. I would say right now, no. Because they have conversations with these women and they're so liberal that they come back and say, "Mama, that one got a lot of issues." It's a numbers game. And that's what I told them.
Here's the counter argument to that one, Shirley. What if they were the same age as you and they were your generation? Would the numbers increase dramatically?
You tell me.
Yes, they would. I'd like to quote BGS. And my father said something similar to this. He said back in the day, he says you could throw a stick, but BGS said you could throw a rock. You could throw a rock at a woman back in the day, about
30 years
40 years ago. Wherever that rock or that stick hits, at least you know you can put the woman in the house and she'll be a wife. Women could do the same thing. She knew if wherever that stick of that rock landed, she had a husband. They knew what their roles were. They knew what their jobs were. If I'm going to be 40 next year. If I go out there looking for a woman, all I'm going to hear is, I need space. I need to finish my PhD. I'm
Lord Jesus.
Married. You're 40. You're 40 with a PhD. Do you think that's going to make you more attractive to a man? Hell and no.
But the irony of the whole thing is that I have a couple of those PhD people that work in the career that I'm in, like I'm in sales, and they're not more efficient. They just have these. It's like more like a trophy in a way, because when it comes down to, because I'm in sales and executive sales, so you gotta have thick skin. You can't be crying. There's no tears when you get kicked out of the office, and the emotion and the drama. And I'm just like, look, this is sales. You need to go into another career. But your PhDs in sociology, not biology. Your PhDs in communications, not biomechanical engineering. So I mean, I don't know. It's just someone needs to tell these people that the best thing to do is okay, fine, get your degree, but you got to get a husband. You got to get married.
Like, number one, that degree is not going to protect you. Number two, a lot of people are not having the savings or the pensions that they used to have to live off.
Nope.
And think about this. A lot of women who have these kids, unmarried, they don't cut their economics in half. They cut it to a fourth. and take a percentage off each kid as well.
You know, you have to explain that we live in a visual society where women are taught to be I am woman, hear me roar to a whole nother degree, to the point that I don't need a man, and I really don't need a black man. I can do everything by myself. And when you have that kind of ideology, you sit back and go, where did they get this thought from? Is it someone in the house? Is it something on TV? Is it the media? Is it social media?
I'll answer that for you, Shirley. It's
all the above.
When we take, it's E, all the above on the Scantron. And see, think about this. I feel sorry for Truth and my son when they go looking for wives, because there aren't going to be any.
What wife? What wife?
Exactly.
There's no wife.
Exactly. Because the number one thing a man does not want to do when they go to the house is go through a power struggle.
Nope. I agree with that.
I think
that what's going to happen is, I think a lot of other mothers, like I look at it this way. I believe you'll find more arranged marriages in the future, where you'll start saying, "Let me introduce my son to your daughter," and vice versa.
Won't be.
I'm going to tell you which was funny as hell. A coworker of mine, Chinese dude, him and his wife are married, but it was arranged. He said, "Hell, we were there for functionality. We learned to love each other." Okay. He said, "We met, we socialized, we went out on dates, but we learned to love each other." I'm sorry. We're going to have to take a real investment into the stocks that we're bringing into the next generation.
Well, the thing is, before, back in the day, it was love comes later, but it's about making a deal. Families used to get married for business and economic purposes. And so we've lost that. And so the love comes later. The attraction comes later, but it comes through the context of family, lineage, economics.
When you change the environment, you change the culture. It's happening all over the world, not just here.
But I think at the same time, what you guys are thinking about when you're talking about, the problem with our women is in my opinion, one of the most treasonous pictures.
When you change the environment, you change the culture, right? This is happening in Korea. It's happening in Latin America. It's happening in South Africa. It's happening in Kenya. It's happening in the Middle East. I just got an email from Black Mind. Shit's happening in the Middle East, okay? When you change the environment, you change the culture. How do you construct something will actually adjust itself to the environment that we're in? Because it's not going saying this basically what do you call it? A concentrated group is not going to change the environment. It's not. Okay, the environment is what it is. You got to find strategies that work with the environment that you're in.
And just Miss Sherwood, you said it wasn't your responsibility. You thought it wasn't really your responsibility to advocate and speak against the women that are truly against the actual education. And I would argue this: you are ultimately, by choosing not action, you are resigning your own children to a fate of waiting on women who are so career driven that they completely forget about their actual internal needs.
Let me just say this.
Go ahead, share the screen, Art, because this is the paper that I was actually want to show. Okay, this is the paper. It's Reformer Retrenchment, Single-Sex Education, and the Construction of Gender and Race by Verner L. Williams, University of Cincinnati College of Law. Okay, written in 2004. She actually talks about how they helped kill that school in Detroit, Black boys, Garrett versus the Board of Education in Detroit.
You would think of Detroit.
But you can actually look it up. It's probably free on academia.com. She actually talks about it at the very end. I was trying to find it, where she talks about all boys schools actually basically reinforce patriarchal roles and sexism. And that's the reason that they kill it. That's ultimately the reason that.
But yeah, we have a high school in Baltimore, which is Western, all girls school. So is that not sexism by her definition?
Yeah. In other words, if in her opinion, if you sexualize education, basically you're gonna make it look like that the black mothers aren't really doing their jobs. Okay, you're gonna make that basically in so many words. Okay, you're gonna get back to the old trope that you're gonna reinforce gender roles and put black women back in the kitchen, in the bedroom, and reinforce old gender stereotypes. That's how come they killed it. That's how come they don't want to look. It doesn't matter if it's gonna help black boys or not.
What do you think about this, BGS? Also, that begs to differ. What is the actual point of your complaining about black men to rise and black men on your level if you don't want them to be
actual? You go back to the interview I did with Dr. Thunder. He actually put it up on Saturday, right? And I actually said it, right? The one or two things either they don't know, which I don't believe because they're actually too smart, too well read, or the system is actually working the way they want it to work. And I think the system actually working the way they want it to work. If you have the only bump in black male education was the Kerner Commission, where we're finding out that the majority of black men could not work at these trades or work in these factories if they didn't know how to read or write. Okay. So what they needed to do was actually that's what the equal opportunity or affirmative action was actually about. How do you educate these men, bring them up to stuff so they actually go out and work? Okay, that's when we had a rise in black male education. Before 1968, only 23% of black males ever graduated from high school.
And literally,
and everybody was good with that, right?
You're fine with
so black male the lack of black male education in schools is not a 20-year-old problem, 15-year-old problem, 50-year-old problem, it's a 150-year-old problem. Okay, and people are good with it. So the system is actually working the way it's supposed to.
You said just 150 years, BJS. Couldn't you say it's ultimately?
I'm going back to emancipation, right?
Basically emancipation or Reconstruction.
Mm-hmm.
You taught just enough to count the beans.
But it's ultimately just an extension of the antebellum slavery system.
The cultures are very sticky, right? And if you don't correct them, which is what Monahan was talking about. If you don't correct it, if you don't do something to shock black people out of the morass that they're in, it's going to continue the way it's going to continue, right? And so what Monahan said is women might have to give up some positions and some jobs and give it to black men to actually create the behavior, right? Black women are not going to sacrifice their position and their privilege to help their men. They're not.
What did I always say, BGS? I've said it for years now. I'm gonna have to start putting this shit on t-shirts, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Black women, are you willing to give up your jobs for your man to rescue you?
No.
You know, and it's funny because I've actually had to talk about that painting, that picture you had.
Oh,
Black woman in the lake.
In the lake,
that summarized the relationships of black men and black women. You got the key for your men to come rescue you out your plight. You would rather drown with the key in your hand than to let that man, to unchain that black man to come rescue you and put you in a place of safety.
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay.
That's not every black woman.
Wait.
We didn't say every. We didn't say every.
You guys still keep talking about black women.
Wait. We gotta take a step back.
The majority.
I understand the Cynthia G mindset has really taken hold into
no. It has
a lot of black women.
No,
I'm saying the ideology. Let me finish this. The ideology.
Okay. All right.
Also, this also stems back to one of the pictures that's very iconic in feminist culture, the Dorothy Pittman, Gloria Steinem picture. And I understand where all that comes from. But the last group that I am even going to think about looking at as someone who I want to step aside or step down is the black female. I just don't think that's not even. I don't think that's an option anymore.
Well, then we're not going to go anywhere. Then. We're not going to go anywhere.
There's plenty of. We are the group of people. We are the group of people that created so many different cultures and so many different things that have been straight out stolen from us. Stolen from us. The bottom line is we need to get our women back, get them off this feminism trail.
How do you do that?
They don't want to get off of it, so it's impossible.
In other words, let me ask you this question.
It's not going anywhere.
Do you know how hard
it is? What it is.
Drug addict off of drugs?
See what I mean, Art?
I'd rather go heads up with Karen or Darren than go up with heads up with Shamaka. I'm not going heads up with Shamaka.
Guess what? Guess what?
Let him finish. Go ahead.
I'm gonna tell you something that's real ugly and basic. She's willing to go up against you. And she will tell you that every single day. We just got, 10, 15 minutes ago, we were talking about fucking HR. What the hell do you think Tamika are doing in HR? Not one goddamn time can she say, you know what, I'm gonna push this good brother here because he needs a job and you never know. He needs to take care of his future family or his family currently. Not one damn time have they put that in their thought. But guess what? They'll hire Jose. They'll hire Chad. They'll hire Ahmed. And you're telling me, see, this is the reason you're a military man, right? You already know. Yes. First rule of war. You define your op forces and your allies very quickly, won't you? For those of you who don't know what an op force is, op 4 is your oppositional force.
Okay.
You define those motherfuckers very quickly. Because guess what? They'll go into that job bragging about how much money and how much education they have, but in the next minute, niggas ain't shit. Well, we know, compared to the research, compared to the numbers, it's not true. You just don't want them to succeed.
I'm tired of fighting, man. I think we're gonna actually do what's necessary or actually stop fighting. What are we gonna do?
Hey, can you guys hear me?
We got you, man.
Just take yourself. It is what it is.
We got you up here, bro.
What's going on there, panel? Y'all know what's going on. Shout out to the panel. I wasn't even gonna get up here. You saw I got up here earlier, then I jumped off. It's real simple, man. There's one thing that if you don't have it, you ain't gonna get shit, and that's desire. Why aren't the children more well-read there, BGS? Because the black mothers that are in charge of them, in vast majority, don't desire to make them more well-read. Why aren't black women supporting black men? Because they don't desire to support black men. Point blank, period. People can talk until they're blue in the face. We honestly know that when somebody truly wants something, especially as a group, especially when you're more often than ever seeing black female faces in or around the halls of power, getting commercials, getting deals. It's not black girls, like everything they do is being pointed towards black women and black girls and not black men and black boys. Point blank, period. If they do not desire to do it, we're not going to get them to do it. In fact, the first thing they're going to say is, well, why should we have to give this up? For the same reason that you complain and talk about black men need to bring back white supremacy. We got the enemy at the front gates, and we got their cohorts in the damn building that we're trying to protect. I don't know what she said. Hey, I put it in the chat. I can't remember exactly how she said it, but basically, black people don't support each other. You know it's way worse than that? Getting stabbed in the back. I'd rather you not support me than stab me in the back. And in general, the behavior of black women in general, in the United States, ADOS women, is stabbing black men in the back. Doesn't have to be all of them, right? You don't have to go overtly praising the ones that are doing good. Especially when you're getting screwed over. If you clean up a room, you don't go and praise the clean part of the room. You start working on the dirt. That's why we talk about the dirt so often.
Share it, Art.
Okay. What happened to the Monahan report? What happened to that? What happened to Monahan and what he said in his research?
Unfortunately, he said it's worse than he actually thought in the first place. I might do a redo of the Monahan report. I actually did it like 9 videos on the Monahan report back 2015.
Well, yeah. What was the response though from black women?
Remember the term "blame the victim." In other words, black women took it to heart that he was actually trying to blame them, right? And Just like you said, they didn't want to give her power. So guess what they did? They killed it. So is what it is.
But there's not even, they don't even have power though. That's the crazy part. They think they have power.
Whatever little power they have, they don't want to give it up. You work with them, man, because I'm tired.
Well, no, I think you're kind of breaking down walls with my head, because I'm just like thinking, like, wait a minute, Willie Lynch wrote a letter about this, then the slave plantation, and then
you see the picture. You see the picture.
Look,
okay,
look.
See the picture. He's chained up. She's got the key, and she's reaching for him to get her. The thing is, he can't do it because he's chained up. She won't give him the key because she doesn't trust him.
She'd rather die first.
She'd rather die first.
The logical thing would be for him to cut her loose and subside himself.
He's going to die anyway, right? Because he's chained, right? So they're both going to die. She'd rather both of them die rather than give her power.
And here's the crazy part. When I explained that illustration, who's going to die quicker?
Her.
Who's going to die more painfully?
Him.
A picture's more than 1,000 words, isn't it?
She will die to see him frustrated.
Well, when she dies,
but I'm gonna find our frustration entertaining.
DJs, when she dies, he could drag her corpse out of the water and just take.
He's chained to a tree.
He can't reach her. He can't reach her.
He can drag her corpse out of the
water.
He
can't. He's chained to a tree, sir. He can't move. That's the illustration of the picture.
If you're on your phone, just enlarge the picture so you can see. They're basically touching fingertips barely.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I thought they were chained together. Okay.
No, they're not chained together.
Oh shit! God damn it.
He could just drag her out of the water. I mean, the only thing she could do if he was chained to her. The problem is that she has the key and she's hiding the key from him. She can make it easier on him, but she refuses to.
She doesn't trust him.
And then take some of that dirt right in front of her.
The top. Don't overthink it, man. It's an emotional picture. It's not a logical picture. It's illustrating something.
It's a emotional picture of triflingness.
No. That's the angst between black men and black women. She doesn't trust him to actually do the right thing. She wants to hold on to power and go down with the ship rather than try to free him, so he can rescue her. And is he gonna blame him for not rescuing her?
Yeah. Think about it. Every time I come into these conversations, I even had a good friend of mine, Chanel, on my show earlier today. When she talked about, what? So should a black woman stay in a relationship? I said, should stay in a marriage I said, look, you really want my honest opinion? You may not like it. If it's not abuse of you and the children, or him or the children and the husband, some things you can work out of, unless he's taking the money or she's taking the money and she's gambling you into debt. There's some shit that you can work through. Now, if it gets to the point where you feel like you're about to kill yourself or kill her or she's going to kill you.
Okay, I had to leave the group. It was a lot going on. Thank you guys so much for watching. What's your thought on that kind of a show? Because sometimes I agree with them, sometimes I don't agree with them. And when we talk about the black woman and the black woman pulls down the black man and there's not enough good black women and it is up to the black woman to save the black man. Oh my God, Jesus, take the wheel. Jesus, please, somebody help me. That's all I'm saying. Somebody help me. What's your thoughts in the comments section about what we just encountered? You know, there's good and bad in those conversations. And the bad part is that it's not balanced enough. I think there are a lot of great women. And let's see, I'm gonna put I think Flagship wants to come over here. So I'm going to put in the chat room if he wants to come in before I leave. Because I don't know. You know, I love my people, and then sometimes I question my people. Like, they get so angry that there's so many of these liberal black women. Well, hell, you live in a liberal society. You know, the Lyndon B. Johnsons in the world who sat back and dispositioned black men and pulled them out of the family in the 1970s. When we think about the black man in the field and the slaves, they always made the the women more empowered. It's the American structure of destruction of black families. And so now we fast forward to the way we are today. Are we supposed to be shocked? Are we supposed to be extra emotional over this matter? I don't know. I do know that it gets a little cuckoo for Cocoa Pop, and then, I'm gonna call my boy. Hold on a second. Let's see if he answered his phone. I'm gonna tell him he just leave, because that's all I did. I just left, and then to see if he'll come over here and talk. Thank you so much for Pam for moderating. MC Works, thank you so much. I appreciate it. And Nina's in the room. I appreciate it. And Rocket Man, I love your emails. Your emails really mean a lot to me. I'm live on my show now. Go to my show. I'll put the link in. Just leave. You ain't gotta say goodbye. Just leave. And so, who else is out here? I appreciate you guys. So what's this? And that's it. How are they going to put money in the pockets? It's nonsense going on in this country. It costs money. I mean, it costs money to all of us. And they act like people like me or others are like people who, like kindred spirit of us in this chat room, like it's our responsibility. And it's not. And it's not. It's not a one-man show. It's a team effort, and it's those who have the money. Our money won't go as far as that. All I can do is inform you, educate you, and bring you abreast of what's going on. But to sit back and talk about the black woman and the black woman won't save the black man, and I ain't got time. I just ain't got time. I think the key thing that we have to look at where we are in this country and how we move forward. If we're going to continue to go backwards and say, well, the way we find the answer to the forward is to go the backwards, I disagree with that. I think there's great people out there, like I talked about on that show. Smothers Academy Prep School was created by Damon Smothers. He's a friend of mine that I met in Bakersfield, California, and he had this passion to want to help black boys. And he did. He helped black boys, and he started an amazing school. That school's still going strong. So are we going to acknowledge the strength of our people, or are we going to continue to tear down the failures of our people? Because I think that's what YouTube loves to pander to. It panders to the weak part of our people, and versus what we are as a people today and where we can move forward. I mentioned to you guys earlier, I'm going to pivot a little bit when I talked about 3 levels in life that a lot of us are at. And I'm going to use nursery rhymes to explain it. And a lot of times I talk in nursery rhymes because if I talk direct, I don't need my channel flagged. But when I say we have the pig, the straw, the pig with the stick, and then we have the pig that the 3 little pigs that has the brick house, we need to be prepared to create a brick house in this economy. We need to have solid jobs. We need to have property. We need to have guns. We need to talk to family members that can be an advantage to us, not only an advantage to us, but a family member that believes in reciprocity. So many times in life, people do not believe in reciprocity. They just want something from you. They want to take from you. They don't believe in you. Those type of people have to be pushed aside. Hey, Jane, thank you for popping in. And Dee, thank you so much for being on board. I mean, those kind of people don't bring any value to the table. So I think in these times, I'm not looking back. I'm not going to continue to study Hitler and how history repeats itself. I think we know that. I think where we're at right now is not only are we in a pandemic, but we're in a global economy that is tragic right now, not only in America, but in other countries. They are also dealing with the fact that people don't want to go back to work. People don't want to pay their bills. People do not want to take the job that they had before. They are also dealing with that. That's not my responsibility. Neither is it yours. So I want to de-stress you with this video. I want you to understand. I want you to sit back and I want you to breathe. I want you to sit back and create a plan of reciprocity. Meaning, what does reciprocity mean? That means that if someone's going to give something to your life, then you should give back. But if you find yourself the giver, if you find yourself the person with the plan and the idea and the purpose and the goals and they just like sucking you up like some kind of vampire. You need to think to yourself and slow your roll and determine, does that person add value to your life? Another thing you need to look at, I would say food, water, and shelter. If you're going to sit back and just keep renting, knowing that you pay a lot of rent and you cannot save, then you disposition yourself. Because at any point, that landlord may not be paying on his mortgage. And I say his mortgage because it's not yours, even if you're paying him rent. You take the risk on that. You also take the risk that the government programs will always be in place because they've always been. What we're finding now with COVID and with this invasion of foreign immigrants and illegal immigrants, they're making them priority. Look what's going on in Afghanistan. Look what's happening, that now they're coming here. And instead of helping the homeless, why don't we give $2,000 per person to the homeless? We're going to give $2,500 plus to people from Afghanistan and give them housing when you can't even take care of your own homeland. I said something to you guys back in January. I said, take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. Put yourself first. Have a plan of action. Because if you don't have a plan of action, you're going to lose. Hey, Jay, if you want to come in, I put the link in the chat room. Jay's in the room. Jay's in the room. So, Jay, if you want to come on in, you can. I would love to hear your comments because you also were on that thread and you were talking to me and we were saying, it's just, are we going to continue to see black men beat up black women and say, well, you're a rare breed, so let's talk about the bad breed. I don't think we should talk about the bad breed. I think we should talk about the black family as a whole. I think we should talk about the community as a whole. And we can't say it's one person's responsibility to motivate and to build. And I've done all that. Anybody who knows me, I've done all that. I listened to that young man. I'm like, you must didn't know who I was because I've done all that. But what I can tell you is what you all need to do is take a pen and paper. Write down what your desires, your vision, your purpose. What can you do between now and September to December? Where are we going to end up being January to the next December? What is this economy and how will it affect you? Are you investing? Can you invest? There's a lot of loans and businesses out there. I'm thinking about doing a video that would help those who have businesses maybe try to say, Shirley, how do we find money? When I talked about early at the beginning of this video, we talked about set-asides, right? And I talked about Eric Coffey. Please look up Eric Coffin. He's on YouTube. He talks about different ways that you can get those SBA government programs to correlate with maybe a business that you already have. Because like someone said earlier, you need money. And if you don't need money, if you don't have money, I don't know how you expect to do anything in business or in life, right? But if you don't have people who have the same ideology and viewpoint, and all we're going to do is just tear each other down or tear down the black woman or tear down the black man, I ain't got time. I'm like, oh, come on, bro, please, really? Have some hope. Have some faith. The scripture says faith without works is dead. The scripture said that God has not given us a spirit of fear, but a power, love, and a sound mind. How sound is your mind? For greater is he that's in you than he that's in the world. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. For God is my healer. Jehovah Jireh is my provider. Where are these people in their ideology and their thinking? Find positive people, my brothers and sisters. Don't give up hope. Sit down tonight, write the good and the bad, and then make a decision not to give energy or traits to focus on the failures of our community because God knows there's a lot. We already know we have a lot of failures in our community. We already know we have a lot of plants of people who are heavily influenced by the liberals, by the LGBT, A, B, C, D, E, F people, by black women who were raised by other black women who had no black man. And so they don't value the black man. I get it. I know those women exist. But my God, what about the good ones? What about the ones like me who had a good father and a good uncle and good brothers and who have sons who raised them to have the mindset to respect the woman and to respect the black woman? So think about that. Because if you're going to pull your energy towards the dark side, there'll be no light in your life. Light in your life. And if you want life in your light and you want to move forward and you want goodness, then you have to gravitate towards it. And you have to do what you can to contribute to the dark side, to at least let them know there is some hope. And I go on those kind of channels, even though we don't always agree. And it's like this emotional struggle or challenge in our conversations. I hope to be a light or a beacon. At least the brother says, look, Shirley's a rare breed. And I took that as a compliment. I didn't thank him, but I appreciate that. But there's a lot of rare breed women. It's just that you guys don't look hard enough and you don't process hard enough. So to think that there's no good black woman, that's not true. It's always a numbers game. Anyway, I love you guys. Make sure that you have any comments. Please leave it in the comments section. I call this green eggs and ham because, we're talking about taking those shots. Sam, I am. And green eggs and ham is basically the things that they're telling us that we have to eat, drink, and breathe. And I always tell you, you're a free spirit. God has given every man a will. You can do what you want to do, but use wisdom in its process. And stay conscious, stay awake, and stay alert. I love you, my people. Make sure, again, leave your comments in the comments section. And look forward to talking to you soon. Good night.